Hey, what's up, beat hackers? In this week's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to create your very first minimal kind of tech house loop on Ableton from absolute scratch. Now, I haven't created the track yet, but I'm going to play you a clip of what the final thing sounded like, and I'm going to get straight into it. So, here it is. Okay guys, so let's just get straight into it. So we've just opened up Ableton and it looks a little bit like this. The first thing we want to do is go and click on this button up here, which will open up the screen in these kind of lanes where we're going to be putting different instruments and stuff. Now in this video, we're going to keep it really simple. We're going to focus on the drums, which is things like kick drum, clap, hi-hat. Then we're going to go and get a really cool bass line going, and then we're maybe going to put a bit of a lead on top of it, but we're going to keep it super simple. So as you can see over here, there's different categories of different things. So drums is the first one we're going to start with. So go and get drums. Now if you come up to the top and search and type in the word warm, there's this really awesome selector kit warm up here, which is what I always suggest people use. Now we're going to go and drag this into the top MIDI track up here. Don't worry too much about what MIDI and audio is at the moment. I'm just going to put this drum kit on it. Now at the bottom here we can see we've loaded this drum kit on. The next thing we need to do is create a MIDI clip that we can draw in different drum beats into. So we want to zoom all the way in to the first bar here. We'll know it's a bar because if we click the metronome and press play, it'll play for 4 beats. 3, 4, 1. Okay, so we're going to draw in a bar like that. Right click, and then we're just going to say insert MIDI clip here. Now, what you'll see when you do this is it'll open up all these different drum sounds. If you hit this little headphone, you'll be able to hear them all. Like that. The first thing we want to go and do is find a kick. So we've got the kick here. And we want to put a kick on every quarter note. This will create a kind of 4 on the floor rhythm. So we'll put one there, one here, and one here. Now the next thing we're going to do is actually loop this MIDI track so it just goes round and round and round. So you just come up here, click on the MIDI clip and click Apple or Alt L on your computer. It will just loop it round. So you've got this. Next thing we want to do is go and tune off the metronome at the top. So we've just got the kick playing by itself. And the thing that I love about this drum kit that we've gone in and put on our lane is we can select different drum sounds or different kick sounds. So what you need to do is click Shift Tab, and it'll take us to the lane where it's got the kit that we've dragged onto this lane on it. And if we were to hit Shift and Alt again, or Shift and Tab again, it'll take us back to the MIDI sequence, like that and like that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go and find the kick that's playing by just seeing which thing plays in yellow when it plays. Here it is. So we're going to click that, and we're just going to click this up and down. So click on it and drag up and down to go through different samples until we find a kick that we really like. Quite like that kick, so we're going to leave it there for now. Now come up and click on this MIDI clip up here, or again, hit Shift and Tab. Both will do the same thing. I'll take you back to this screen. Next thing we want to do is go and maybe put a clap on the lane. Now something that happens in all dance music is a clap happens on every other kick drum. So we're going to go and get the clap, which is here, and put one on the 2nd and 4th kick drum. We've all heard that before, so well, we've all heard that kind of sound sequence before, kick, clap, kick, clap. So we're going to go back, go and find where the clap is, down here, and we're going to go and get a different sample till we find a clap we really like. That's quite a good one. And now we're going to go and do the same thing with a hi-hat. So we're just going to go and find the hi-hats, and we're going to put it directly in the middle of every kick drum, like this. And one there, and one there. Now we've got this sound. Pretty cool. Let's go back, same thing, choose a different sample. That's pretty cool. So we've got that. Now remember, if we wanted to change the volume of any of these things, we can just go in and turn it up by selecting the thing that we've got and turning it up. So if I wanted to turn the kick up a bit, I'll just select the kick and turn the volume up. Like that. Cool, so we've got a really basic drum pattern here, which sounds really awesome. Now, the next thing we want to do is go and add some bass. So we're going to close this down and we're going to go to instruments here. Click in the instruments lane. We're going to go to the top and just type in bass. It really is as simple as that. And we'll go and just find a random bass. We'll go into analog, go into bass and just find the first. That's a pretty cool bass. So let's just get that. And we're going to drag it into the next MIDI lane down here. Now you could either drag it into the MIDI lane or just drag it down into this area here and let go. And we've created a new lane with this sound on it. And in fact, I'm just going to go and delete all these other lanes we haven't used yet by just clicking in this area here and clicking backspace. So now we've got a beat and we've got something we can play a bass line with. Now the way I like to add bass lines and add music in is by actually playing it. I know you're already thinking, I can't play the drums, I can't play the piano, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about it. All you've got to do is come and make sure that this is selected here, okay? And make sure this button up here is selected as well. This will allow us to actually play bass lines on our keyboard. Okay? Now, if you play a note and you're like, why is that so high? I thought this was bass. You can just make it lower, a lower octave by hitting Z to take it down an octave or X to take it up. So look, if I'm hitting any of these buttons here are basically all the white keys on a keyboard, which is basically the C major scale. But don't worry too much about that. All you need to know is you can hit these keys here and some of these keys up here to make notes. I'm going to hit Z to take it down an octave. Now we've got a bass line, so we can just come and have a quick play around just by hitting these here. Really awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to actually play this loop, but I'm just going to play around on my keyboard coming up with a kind of basic tech house kind of bass line. Sounds pretty cool, and like literally guys, all I'm doing is these. That's it, I'm using 4 notes there, and it's a pretty cool bass line. So now what I want to do is actually record this in, okay? So I want to make this a bit longer. I'm going to bring this loop, this section here is the loop, I'm going to bring it out to 4 bars. I'm also going to drag this out to 4 bars, and it's going to drag that drum loop all the way out like this, okay? So I'm going to have a quick playthrough, solidify a beat in my head, and I'm going to record it in. So let's have one more practice. Okay, let's record this in. So I'm going to come up to this metronome and click this button here and give myself a 1 bar count in, okay? So that means it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 before it starts actually recording. I'm going to click on the point of the project that I want to record, and I'm going to hit record, and I'm just going to play it in. Okay, so let's have a quick listen to what we just created. So that's good, but it's not perfect. It could be a bit tighter because at the moment, not everything is perfectly on time, and it did miss a note right at the beginning. So I'm going to come down to the piano roll, and if you can't see the piano roll, you just click on the clip like this. Come in, I notice it missed my first note, which I can tell should have been about here, so I'm just going to draw it in and stretch it out a bit more. And I'm going to make sure that everything is perfectly on time by selecting all of the notes by just highlighting them all. Right click, go to quantize settings, and let's just see. So we want the start note to be quantized. This basically means it's going to snap it to the grid. So I'm going to take end off, so it's just the start. And I'm going to have it 100% to 16th note, so it'll snap to the grid that we can currently see. There we go, and it just did it. Let's have another quick lesson. Really awesome, really cool. Now, bear in mind, we can now go in and change things about this sound if we want to. In the same way, we're going to hit Shift and Tab, and we can go and change these different parameters about this bass sound. So for example, we could filter this bass. Let's have a go of that. That's pretty awesome. I quite like it being quite filtered. Now, we may want to now go and add a bit of a kind of a top lead over the top. So again, we're just going to close bass there, and we're going to go and type in lead. So we just type in lead like this, and let's go and grab a wavetable, and let's just go and trial a few of these out. So we're going to listen to them first. I quite like swirl leads. So what I'm going to do is drag this just into this space here. Let's open it up so it's the same kind of size as these other two. And let's just have a little play around with this. It's a bit low, so again I'm going to hit X to bring it up. And again. Perfect. Now let's just have a quick play. Again, this is where the fun bit is. You just have a play. Let's have a listen. I want to keep this really minimal, so I'm just going to add those quick notes in there. So again, I've got this lane activated. I go and hit record, and let's record it in. There we go. Let's have a quick listen to that. And we can go and play around with this sound down here. We could play around with the filter. So if I just soloed this sound, we can see what it sounds like. I like it quite high. Maybe turn the resonance up a bit. Cool, that sounds awesome. And we may want to put a different effect on this. So let's go and get an audio effect here. And we may want to add a little bit of kind of saturation, which will make it a bit crispier. So we get saturation like that, drag it on, and we could just turn this up and see from dry to wet and see what it sounds like. Turn the drive up a little bit. And bring the volume down over here. Cool, let's have a quick listen to that all together. So there you go, guys. There is a really simple loop there. It's kind of tech house, a minimalistic loop. So simple, so effective, and so easy to do. So the reason I put this video together is because I know there's a lot of people out there who find it quite daunting, the thought of actually going and creating music. But really, creating music is about just taking it one step at a time, creating simple things like this to start, and learning bit by bit until you can create these really, really complicated pieces. But you'll be amazed at how quickly you get there, because you'll just be taking it a step at a time. And hopefully this video has gone to show you how simple it can be just to go and create your first loop. Hopefully the video has helped. If you guys are interested in learning all about making more electronic dance music, I've currently got some free training over at edmcoaching.com, linked directly below this video. If you've enjoyed this and you want to see more videos just like this, watching me create tracks right in front of you, leave a comment below and let me know. Also, like the video because I like seeing likes. And finally, if you want to see more content like this on a weekly basis, make sure you subscribe to this channel by hitting this button here and hitting the bell notification so you get told about future videos. Hit that button down there if you want to go and see that free EDM training. And why not go and listen to one of my recent tracks by hitting this button below right now. I'll see you in next week's video. Ciao!